So I just went and I bought the Rider magazine to see what the motorcycle of the year was. I mean, I thought it would be something like this. I'm on my Heritage, you know, the Harley, the Beast, American Iron. It's number 3 on the list. It didn't even make the top 2. And they pick a tricycle? What's up with that? Can you believe that they would pick something over this? That makes no sense. It's not even a motorcycle. It has 3 wheels. Who would think that kind of nonsense is? It's just ridiculous.
Or better yet, the beauty and finesse of an adventure motorcycle, right? An actual adventure motorcycle, not an adventure trike. I mean, at least the color's good, it's green. But I just don't understand it. There's so many choices out there, I think, that are so much better. They had the BMW R1300. That was the #1 choice, I guess, next to the winner. The European adventure motorcycles, they're top notch. I mean, they've got every amenity you could possibly imagine. I just don't understand it. Mud roads or dirt trails, and you're wanting to spin her up. She'll do it all. Why? Why, Rider Magazine? Why? I mean, I would call this thing the Swiss Army knife. It was made in Switzerland, but it's I guess the English Army knife? Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today, man, have I got a great video for you, man. All of the controversy online, my goodness. Rider Magazine has done the bad thing as far as the two-wheel community is concerned. They have selected a 3-wheeled motorcycle for the motorcycle of the year. They've chosen the REDROCK Canyon. Now, this video may be a little controversial to some. To me, it's not. But I want to make this video because I think that it's going to be something that is interesting for people who are on the fence. Because I do ride all 3, okay? I ride an adventure motorcycle. I ride a Harley Davidson. I ride a BMW R65, an old one. I didn't make any footage of me on that one. That motorcycle's at my son's house right now. We've been doing some work on it. But I am on my Can-Am Spyder, my 2019 Can-Am Spyder RT base, the Sea to Sky that you normally see me riding on, that is provided kindly by BRP for me to ride, is at the dealership right now getting serviced, getting ready to go to Biketoberfest. So yeah, I'm getting ready to do a little traveling. Be sure you tag along for that trip. It's going to be great. So give this video a big old fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. If you're a motorcycle connoisseur, this channel is for you because it is all things motorcycle, and we have no preconceived ideas. So first off, I want you to know that when I was reading the article, which was a very good article, there will be a link to it down below. I want you to read the article, then I want you to go read the comments. Man, the comments are off the chain. I mean, it's ugly. Now, I want you to know if you have comments where you feel like the Can-Am's not a motorcycle, or you don't think it should have won, or maybe you think it should have won, share your comment down below. I promise you, I'll give it a heart even if I disagree with it. The one thing I will not do, though, is if you're nasty about it and you leave a bunch of profanity and nonsense, then I'll just delete your comment. I want you to be nice and share your views. That's what I want. You know, we can disagree and have a nice, humane, respectable conversation. All right. So first off, let's talk about the Can-Am Spyder and why it is a motorcycle, including the REDROCK Canyon, which got motorcycle of the year. All right. So there are a lot of laws that determine what a motorcycle is and a motorcycle isn't. And you know, you hate to go to the legislative nonsense just to say that's a motorcycle. So I'm not really going to do that, but I do want you to know in the state of Florida and virtually every state I've been to, in order to ride a Can-Am Spyder, you have to have a motorcycle license, not a 3-wheeled license, just a motorcycle license. You could take your test on a Spyder, and that's fine. California, likewise, I think Rider Magazine, when they were defending themselves, kept going to California law, showing them the statute. I'll be honest with you, I think arguing in the comments is a moot point. Most people that have made up their mind is made up. So, you know, I would advise Rider Magazine or even Can-Am aficionados to go share your positive view, but not to argue with people in the comments. That's just fruitless. And people are going to be people. If you put something online, you can expect some blowback. That's just how life is. So why do I consider the Can-Am Spyder a motorcycle? And why do I ride one? And is it even fair for it to be, you know, winning this award? I'm going to tell you yes, okay. But let's talk about why I consider it a motorcycle first. A motorcycle implies that you are sitting on a seat, steering with handlebars, and you are completely in the open, exposed. That's what a motorcycle is. It's not a four-wheeler. Four-wheelers are automobiles. Three-wheelers and two-wheelers are motorcycles. Now, it's not a motorbike. You know, in fact, I have a little heartburn every now and then. I'll hear somebody. I don't ever say anything because I know what they mean. I'll hear people go, well, I did some work to my bike. It's not a bike. It's a trike. Or it's a motorcycle, but it's not a bike. It's not a motorbike. It's a motor trike. And that's what the Spyder is. It is a motor trike. It's a three-wheeler. So it is a three-wheeled motorcycle, just like the Harley Tri-Glide. Just because the wheels are moved up front as opposed to the back does not make it more or less of a motorcycle in either direction. And I think most motorcycle riders, certainly road tours, and especially from the Harley-Davidson community, had the Tri-Glide won, like, say, Tour of the Year. I think most Harley people would applaud it. So, you know, I think the emperor has no clothes when you just start complaining, well, it has three wheels, so it can't be a motorcycle. Having handlebars, not a steering wheel, makes it a motorcycle. That's another big part of it. It doesn't have a steering wheel. It's not a car. It's not a Miata. It's completely different. It is a motorcycle. It is a three-wheeled motorcycle, but it's a motorcycle. You sit on a seat. You sit on it, not in it. It's not a slingshot. A slingshot is not a motorcycle. It's a three-wheeled automobile. Okay? That's what it is. It's a three-wheeled automobile. Just like a van and a car, they're both automobiles. One is a big box and one can be a Corvette. They're completely different, but they're both automobiles. But one is a car, one is a van. One is a sports car, one is a van. You know, there are a lot of people who think that, you know, when they look at motorcycles, they'll tell you that if it's not this brand or that brand, it's not a motorcycle. So there's always that too. All right, so the first thing that we have out of the way is why I think it's a motorcycle. You can write down below why you think it's not a motorcycle, and that's fine. I would love to hear your view on it. And by the way, I've heard all of the arguments, so I want you to know that I won't respond. I'll give you a heart, you know, saying I love your comment because I appreciate your feedback, but I won't argue or debate with you. I've heard all of the arguments. Heck, I made most of them 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I didn't ride a Can-Am Spyder, didn't want a Can-Am Spyder, and thought they were big old goofy tricycles. I didn't know whether to call it a motorcycle or a trike or whatever it was. I just didn't think too much about it. I just knew I was going to ride two-wheelers the rest of my life, and that was going to be the end of it. But that's not how it played out, is it? All right. So again, I can ride anything I want. I have anything. I have every motorcycle I want, and my motorcycles are all different, as you see. You know, I've got a heavy American Iron Cruiser. I've got an adventure motorcycle. I have an old classic. I had some European hooligan bikes, and I also had a track bike, a Suzuki. I got rid of those just before the passing of my daughter. I was doing some other things to take her for rides in like a convertible automobile because she needed, you know, to carry an oxygen tank, and then she passed before I took the money from those motorcycles and purchased a car. But I've owned everything you can possibly imagine, from the Big Four, from Harley, from European motorcycles to the Can-Am Spyder to a traditional Japanese motorcycle that was converted to a trike. I've ridden all of the Tri-Glides. I've had a blast on. I ride everything, anything and everything, and I love it all. But I will always have one of these darn Can-Am Spyders Spyders, these three-wheeled motorcycles, in my garage. So why did the Can-Am Canyon REDROCK, why did it win? I mean, it was going against some really heavy hitters, man. The BMW R1300, are you kidding me? That machine, you talk about a reputation. To beat the R1300, man, people are angry about it. People are mad. People are upset. The Harley Heritage Softail, man, it is a beautiful motorcycle. You saw the pictures of mine. The darn thing is 5-star. It's beautiful. The fit and finish is top dog. Man, and when you ride it, it is an experience that is second to none. It doesn't take a back seat to anyone in what it does. Is it the perfect motorcycle? No. Is the Spyder the perfect motorcycle? No, there is no such thing as the perfect motorcycle. That's the point. So why did the REDROCK Canyon win? I'm going to break it down into a few categories as we do this. The first one is accessibility, and that is the primary category that I think why Can-Am is doing what it's doing and why it is growing at the rate that it is, and that is accessibility for human beings to get on a motorcycle. You know, when we were young, when I was young, I'm in my mid-60s. When I was a young man, I rode a bicycle, and I grew up riding motorcycles. You know, I'll probably talk to Coach Vic when we get done with this ride, and we'll talk about it. But she rode motorcycles as a girl and bicycles as a girl. The kids in my neighborhood, and there are tons of them, let me tell you, a handful of them ride bicycles, and zero ride motorcycles. Zero. The idea of having to manipulate a handbrake, a clutch, a throttle with your right hand that's also braking, a brake with your foot, gear shifting with your foot, and then you're dealing with road surface changes, balance, rapid decision making. It is extremely intimidating for a young person who's never even ridden a bicycle to hop on something like that. And for people like me who are small-minded and old-fashioned, you know, we see that, we go, my goodness, these kids, what's wrong with them? I get it. I get it. It's scary to them. It's dangerous to them. I've got a young man that I'm very close to who bought a little Yamaha R3, and he went down 2 weeks ago, scraped himself up pretty bad. This dude is an athlete, highly coordinated, and he just misjudged a turn. He's a new rider. He made a mistake. It's very unforgiving science, and I understand that as you're learning to ride, those things happen. They do happen, and just because you're an old folk and you don't think it happens anymore, it does happen. And young people, when they see these stories, they get afraid and they don't want to do it. And all of a sudden, in comes this machine. It's got one place you put your foot for a brake, very similar to an automobile, right? They're linked. You don't have individual front and rear brakes. You simply have a foot brake. You put your foot on it, they're linked, and you stop. You don't have to downshift when you see a car coming. You can downshift using the paddle shifter, but you don't have to downshift. It will downshift on its own. All you have to do is upshift as you're accelerating. And even then, all you do is pull the throttle back to go, and you hit the click shifter, and it moves into the next gear. I can teach virtually any young person that wants to learn, that has basic fundamental coordination, how to ride this in a matter of minutes. Will they be a great rider? They won't be, and that's okay. They'll learn, and it's a very safe learning curve. That's what makes the number one reason that Rider Magazine looks at riders. What is going to grow the demographic? And I'm going to tell you, the demographic of old folks, me, we're dying. And as we die out, if young people don't learn to ride two-wheelers, this is the future. I'll liken it to this. Anyone who remembers the first time you saw a snowboard up next to a set of skis on a slope, everyone was like, the snowboard is stupid. That thing's ridiculous. It's a skateboard. It's not. You're not skiing. Well, let me tell you, when you go to Colorado now, there are a lot more snowboarders than there are skis now. And those things have taken over the future, and young people are learning because it's easier to learn. It's just easier to learn. And that is what the Can-Am Spyder is doing. You're still riding a motorcycle, but you're putting yourself in less danger. There's less risk and more reward. All right, so accessibility is one big reason Now, you may think that that's a stupid reason, and that's okay. You're entitled to that opinion, but it is a reason nonetheless. And I think that we have to look at that as more experienced, more mature riders and understand that. We're not there. We're not them. We're us. The next category that they have absolutely hammered it on is innovation. You know, the innovation, the idea of making a three-wheeled adventure motorcycle is very refreshing. You know, I've got a lot of friends who want to ride on dirt roads and trails. They don't want to do anything crazy. They're not looking to go through 3-foot deep creeks. They're just wanting to ride in a little more dirt terrain, national forest roads, fire roads, that sort of thing. And man, let me tell you, the Canyon will do all of that quite nicely. It's got an active adjusting suspension on it. It's got great throttle control, easy shifting, smooth riding, and you're not worrying about dropping it. That's the big thing. A lot of people get out there and they're constantly afraid of dropping a motorcycle. And you know, you're saying, well, Coach, that's part of adventure riding. And you're right, by the way. If you're not falling on your adventure bike, you're just not riding, because you're going to fall. But the problem with falling is not damaging the motorcycle. The problem when you get older, when you fall, you get hurt. And when we get hurt, certainly as older riders, that recovery, and man, that thing's slow. You break something, you tear something, that recovery can take a while. But the technology on that thing is second to none. It's wonderful. And being able to ride and get out into an environment that you normally would not be able to get into is a great thing. So there's the number 2 reason. Number 3 reason, it is a comfortable tourer. Is it comfortable RT tourer? No, it's not. But is it comfortable BMW R13 tourer? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's just as comfortable as any adventure motorcycle out there. You know, the seat, because of the way it's designed, is a little narrower. You know, you can grab it with your legs, you know, like you do a two-wheel motorcycle. And that's the beauty of it. You're not worried about counter steering. You're not worried about falling. And you've got the geometry to hang on with your legs and your hands, just like a traditional two-wheeler. And for those of us that are aging, we appreciate the beauty and the simplicity of that. And for young people who aren't riders, they love it because all of a sudden they're not worrying about getting hurt. There it is again. There it is, right? Fear. Fear is a big thing. You've got to realize it. Whether you like it or agree with it doesn't matter. It's still there. But I'm going to give you the real reason why the Can-Am REDROCK Canyon won Motorcycle of the Year from Rider Magazine. Here's the real reason. I'm just going to stop right here and I'm just going to say it. Nothing behind me, nothing in front of me. It's fun. It's pure, unadulterated fun. Simple as that. And when someone can get on it and have fun the first time out, whether you're an inexperienced rider or you've been riding for 40 years, it's fun. And Rider Magazine got that. When they wrote it, they understood that. That was the big takeaway when I was reading the article. Yes, they were saying, you know, it did well in the sand, it did well in the dirt, they enjoyed carving canyon roads, all of those things. The electronics were top notch, the baggage is awesome, fuel economy's but that's true with all the Can-Ams, you know. But the one thing that everyone agreed on, it was fun to ride on this planet, just out there doing your thing. It was fun. And I think that sometimes we underappreciate the beauty of just having a fun time. You know, this is not a competition. Riding a motorcycle for me is not a competition anymore. If you have more chrome on your Harley than me, I'm okay with that. I'm happy with mine. If you have more lights on your Spyder, which you probably do, I'm fine with that too, because I don't care about all that. If you are a better, more highly skilled adventure rider, I'm okay with that. You know what? I'm always learning. The one thing that I want to do is have fun, and that's why I ride everything. And that is the one thing that I'm going to tell you that Can-Am really, really gets. It's fun. And the other thing is it's open to all. And the other thing is that it's safe. And the other thing is that the technology is top-notch. And there are the primary reasons why the Can-Am Canyon won Motorcycle of the Year. But it was so funny to me, everyone goes, and the winner of Motorcycle of the Year is... Wah, wah. Not a motorcycle. I don't get too hepped up on that. I just don't worry about it. My Harley bros, you know what? They'll never transition over from the Harley world to the Spyder world. Most of them won't. Most of them will give up riding when they have a health problem or something, and they're like, if I can't ride a Harley, I'm not going to ride anything. And that's okay. I have no problem with that. But I will tell you this, and after seeing Vicky and me ride on the Can-Am Spyder and across the country a couple of times and do the things that we've done, here's the thing I'll tell you. They get it. They absolutely get it. You know, we had a guy, when we were coming back from California, this was during COVID, he was a 1%er. He was, I guarantee he was more of a biker than any of my viewers are, and probably more of a biker than anyone that watches this little nerdy channel, right? I'm not going to tell you his name because, you know, that would be uncool, and I wouldn't want to get him in trouble with his brothers, honestly. But he was a big guy. He was a big guy, and he had a funny name, funny, you know, club name, and he got off of his motorcycle and he was screaming profanities. He was so hot. He was like 6'8", 6'9", big dude, big burly dude, no helmet, wearing a vest with no shirt, and it was hot. And he was cussing and putting gas in his Harley, and I was over there putting gas in the Spyder, and he looked at me with this kind of crappy look, you know, like, what are you riding there? And he's like, hello, Starman, I am an Earthling. But Coach Vic came wheeling out of the little store that we were at with a couple of Coca-Colas, and I had already spoken to him. He nodded to me, but he was not pleasant. And when he saw Vicky come out in the wheelchair, he walked over and he asked me, so where are you guys coming from? How far have you ridden today? And I was telling him we're on the last leg of a cross-country journey and that we've averaged between 500 and 600 miles a day. His response to that shocked me. And he looked at me and he goes, you guys are real bikers. And I'm like, wow. This is a guy who is a 1%er, rough, tough biker. He's a real biker. And he talked about riding with disabilities and how he's seen so many people get hurt and so many people give up riding. And for us to be out there doing it is really, really cool. Those weren't his exact words. They were probably maybe a little MFers and awesome and the world's crazy and all I want to do is cuss because it's hot and COVID's made the world lose their mind, and he was not a happy guy that day. But he was very encouraging to us. Oddly enough, his nickname, Coach Vic, had a horse named the same name, and she laughed when she saw his patch. She goes, I had a horse that was named that. I'm like, Coach Vic's gonna get me killed. He just laughed. He was a gentle giant who I am sure could be way less than gentle if you were on the wrong side of him. But he understood it. He got it. Would he do it? Probably not. And that's okay. But he gets it. And I think that's where the world is going to have to be. If we are going to understand that the world is changing, the motorcycle world is changing, and you just have to get it. You have to understand it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to appreciate it. But I think you do need to understand it and realize that everyone is not where you are, whether it be physically, emotionally, spiritually, ability-wise, coordination-wise. Everyone's not where you are. And to open the world to a new world, a brave new world of motorcycle riding is a very, very exciting proposition, and I think the one that we should all be open to. Again, I wasn't open to it earlier. I rode Harleys only for almost 20 years. I'd ridden every type of motorcycle in my life, but I'd become a Harley snob, and I wouldn't ride with anyone. If you didn't ride a Harley, I wasn't riding with you. So I salute you, Can-Am, for what you're doing. I'm glad you won Motorcycle of the Year with the brand new Can-Am Canyon Red Rock Edition. It's freaking awesome. Well, there you have it, another one in the books. I want you to do me a favor. Yes, you go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams. It can be anything you want it to be. No judgment from here. Eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are most definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I will see you on the road real soon.